Honestly, I feel at the end of the day, if you're providing good, valuable content in whatever field you're in, whether it's podcasts, whether you're a personal trainer, whether it's music, whether you're a pharmacist, a doctor, a dentist, whatever, you're providing good, valuable, content for your niche. I think you'll succeed. I
Right.
think you always have to give more value than you expect back in return, but you always win at the end if you provide more value.
This.
If you genuinely care about your customers, uh, that kind of means you genuinely care about your business.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you honestly care about your business growing, you got to do things that are out of the ordinary.
Right.
You have to listen to what they're saying. You know, you got to answer those questions.
Mm-hmm.
You got to provide, again, like I said, good content, good exercises, good form. And when you're providing that value, the social proof will catch up. Maybe some people have maybe 2, 3, 4, maybe 10, 20,000 followers. But the thing is, one thing that I do notice is they don't even engage with some of their users.
Right.
They start commenting on their photos, liking it and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But they don't even engage. They don't even talk to them.
Engagement's super important,
Yeah.
man.
It's social media.
Yeah.
It's very important. You got to be using that.
Yeah.
Like you're supposed to be engaging with them. That's the whole purpose of social media. It's social media.
And you see the people who set themselves apart
Mm-hmm.
are the ones who are constantly interacting with their fans, no matter how
Mhm.
famous they are. One person I think who's like the king of this is The Rock.
Oh,
Like,
The Rock is amazing.
It's like, do you think he really takes the time to individually respond to every person,
You know what?
every comment,
I,
every like?
I'm gonna be very straightforward. I think everyone has time to do everything, no matter how busy you are.
Okay.
It's where your mind is. It's what you value most. It's
Right.
and I genuinely think the type of person he is, he will take the time out of his day to just engage with his customers. And so far, it's pretty powerful. I think the core principle of this book is replacing old habits with new habits.
Right.
And one of the most important ones that he talks about, which is going to be the fundamentals, is basically finding your why. Basically,
Okay.
why do you choose to do this or that or this? So basically, we, as human beings, we have a bunch of layers built up. So if I were to say, Sharma, why are you doing podcasts?
Mm-hmm.
Right away, you have kind of like a reflex. Oh, I'm doing podcasts for this reason.
Yeah.
You already have it. You're just speaking from your head.
Right.
But if you go 7 layers deep and I keep asking you, why do you do this?
Yeah.
Why do you do this? And I keep going. By the time you get to the 7th level and ask you why, that might be your real reason as to why. And you're no longer speaking from your reflexes,
Okay.
or you're pretty much speaking right from your heart and your soul.
I think that's very powerful shit because you can use that to kind of fuel you through harder times, right?
Yeah.
Because things aren't always going to be like going smoothly and whatnot. Like,
Exactly. And like the core purpose of this chapter is the reason you want to find your why is because if you don't identify what your real why is, there's going to be times you're going through a really hard time. You're going to be going through tremendous amount of adversity and challenges, and troubles. And if you don't have your true why figured out, you're more easily likely to just give up and quit.
right.
But then if you realize what your true why is, exactly why you're doing it, that is going to be the difference between you quitting and you continuing to push towards your goals. The reason I have this book is because I was interested in it. And if someone were to say, why are you reading this book? I would say, because I want to reach financial independence or financial freedom. But that's just me talking. But then as I get deeper and deeper and deeper,
It's like, why do you want
yeah,
financial
why
freedom?
do you exactly?
Yeah.
And as you keep going down, it's gonna get to a point where you might get so emotional, you might get tears in your eyes because you're gonna find your real why, the
Right.
real reason, the real root of why you're doing exactly what you're doing. And once you get to that point, you'll realize that there's like literally nothing that can stop you.
Yeah.
You'll be super focused, and
Man,
anytime
that's a great way
yeah.
to stay centered
Yeah.
and like have a vision and a mission that like, hey man, this doesn't fit my overall goal, what I want to achieve, so I'm not gonna fucking do it.
yeah,
But habits are everything, man. Habits are our lives. Like we don't even realize it, but 95% of the things we do are just like habits, like the route we take to work. You light up a cigarette at this certain time every day. you eat Pop Tarts for breakfast on Saturday. Like I don't know, everyone has some kind of like habit, you know,
Hmm.
um, and rewiring your brain to be able to change those habits. It's not an easy.
He quit drinking,
Yeah.
and I asked him like, "How did you do it?" You know, because it's not that easy. And he told me, you know, he started changing some of the habits. So he told me that whenever he's in a social environment, most people will have, say, a drink in their hand or a cup in their hand.
Oh yeah.
And when you put the action into it, is the action of having a sip of something
Right.
consistently.
Yeah.
So what he did was he replaced the alcoholic beverage with maybe a Red Bull or maybe a cup, but with maybe juice in it.
Okay.
But
Just something to drink.
exactly, so this the action is he's still sipping on something. He
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
replaced what it was. He replaced the product, so he's still having the same conversation as everyone else. Nobody knows the difference,
Uh huh.
and you know it worked for him. One of my most favorite things that I've learned is how the conscious mind works and how the subconscious mind works.
Uh huh.
And I didn't dig deep into it, but I got, you know, a little brief taste of it. And I think the
Don't
person,
worry, bro. It's not
yeah,
that deep.
yeah. I think the person that I really enjoyed listening to is, I think his name was Dr. Bruce Lipton or something like that.
Okay.
And he basically talks about how the subconscious mind works. I'll give you an example. When pretend you're driving, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Pretend you're driving home today from work, and maybe you get a phone call.
Right.
Okay, you're driving home, you're getting a phone call, you're having a deep conversation. Boom! Next thing you know, you arrive at home, and then you realize, what the hell? I don't remember passing those set of lights. I don't remember taking that right turn.
Right.
How did I get here? And that's the subconscious mind, because the subconscious mind knows exactly how to take you home even when
Okay.
you're not aware of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the subconscious mind. Through constant training and practice, you'll be
Yeah.
able to get that repetition, and you can train your subconscious mind. And if you think about that, that's why you'll see a lot of successful people that use affirmations about the power of visualization.
Oh, that shit's powerful,
Okay,
man. I used to think it's bullshit.
I'll talk about basketball because you brought that up.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a science experiment. I can't exactly remember what it was, and I don't remember where I heard it. But there was a science experiment, or just an experiment in general. They took three groups of kids, you know, group A, B, and C. So they told group A, listen, for the next 30 days, you're gonna do, you're gonna come once a week, and you're gonna practice for 1 hour. Okay,
Okay.
or every day for the next every day for the next 1 month, you're gonna come here for 30 days, 1 hour a day, and you're gonna practice
Mm-hmm.
shooting hoops. Okay, then we went to group B, and group B, they told this group to listen, every day you're gonna come here, and for the next 1 day you're not gonna do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That was a control test. And then they went to group C, and they basically gave them the ball, and they said, listen, you're not allowed to shoot in the hoop, but for the next 1 hour, every day for the next 30 days, you're going to visualize this ball going in through the hoop. And you're just going to visualize this, and you're going to practice every day for the next 30 days for 1 hour
But they
a day.
can't actually shoot.
They're not allowed to shoot, but you're going to visualize the ball going.
Okay.
Okay, so they did the control test at the very beginning. They saw the results. Okay, 30 days later, they did the test. So they looked at Group B. Group B did exactly what you would think.
Yeah.
They did nothing. They improved nothing. Okay, so we go to Group A, and they looked at how much they improved, and they saw there was a 50% improvement because they practiced every day.
Right.
Now, when you go to Group C, they also saw there was also a 50% improvement,
No
just
way.
as much as Group
So
A.
imagine you combine A
And
and
all they
C.
did was visual. Exactly.
Damn. What do you get? Like, I'm not saying you're gonna manifest a play just by thinking about it, but by almost preparing your mind for the scenario that it can happen, when the opportunity presents itself, you'll be more ready than someone who might not have thought about it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the most successful athletes of all time claim visualization is one of the most important parts of their journey.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think there was a story about some guy. He wrote down everything that he wanted within the next 10 years, every single thing, whether it was monetary gains like cars and stuff like that, to everything he wanted, and he wrote it down and he put it away in a box. And I think he came across this box maybe like 20 years later. He completely forgot about it. And then when he pulled it out, he started going through his notes, and he's like, oh my God, you know, I've accomplished maybe over 80% of it. So he technically planted the seed,
Yeah.
and he even wrote down the type of dream house that he visualized. You know, what type of house that he lived in, what type of features it
I'm
had,
a
and he
hundred
wrote.
percent believer in
And
that, man.
when he started going through his notes,
If
he
you're
yeah,
realistic about it, and like, these are goals that like are attainable in
mm-hmm,
one way or another, like you can achieve this. If you write them down, and that's not to just say like, yo, I want a Ferrari.
mm-hmm,
You're gonna get a Ferrari. Like, you have to be kind of specific about it,
mm-hmm,
and how you're gonna get it,
mm-hmm,
and what you're gonna do to get it, what steps you're gonna take to get it, when am
yeah,
I gonna get it, all that kind of stuff. But if you write it down, I feel like the odds of you actually getting it go up so much higher, as opposed to just thinking like, yeah, I'm gonna get a Ferrari. Something about writing things down, like
I
for
think
me,
that's honestly the hardest thing to do. Just write things down,
it's
and I
huge.
think people neglect that.
Yeah, man.
And the action of you actually writing
Yeah.
thing, the commitment it takes just to write, even simple notes,
But
like
those people
yeah,
are missing out on is that fucking satisfying feeling. You ever have a to-do list
mm-hmm,
and you've like crossed shit off?
mm-hmm,
Like you find a list like some time later, you're like, I did all this shit. Like
mm-hmm.
I got it all done. Fucking best feeling ever, man.
There's